Welcome in, everyone. Hello, Twitch. Hello, Will Poker. Welcome, Cosmic. So how we all doing this evening? What's new? What's happening? And why aren't you moving at all? There, you're moving a little bit. Mr. Wiggles, no. Hold on. Why aren't you turning more? Why are you stopping? There's nothing binding up on you. Why? There we go. Cosmic. Ooh, that's not what we want. I guess we'll get a couple of greens in our coffee. I'll live with it. What's got you so tired tonight, Cosmic? Hopefully it's because you've been working hard and you're feeling accomplished. Yeah, make money. Good thing. So we're working with tea tonight. We've got chai tea. I cheated and started last night. I think most of you already saw that though, but we have the ice cream freezing in the freezer, which should be a nice solid block by now, hopefully. Yeah, nice solid block. We got bananas that are needing being used. We've got... I was hoping they were going to be a little bit browner by this point, but... Hi, Ozzy. Cheers, folks. Happy Wednesday to you. Sort of a slow start tonight. We had all bunches of people jump in and say hello. Alright, so what do I gotta get started with here first tonight? Probably the pork. Let's see here. Dope. That's alright. Yeah, I think we're getting going with this pork first tonight. Not really. I considered drinking some chai. I've certainly got enough that I'm going to drink some more. But I'm going to go into caffeine overload. If I were doing... I already did the coffee. But even if I swapped out the coffee, doing tea with this, with the ice cream, with the... I want to be up all night. So I'm heating up some oil in the pan here to start searing the meat. Only going to worry about the salt right now. We'll deal with the other spices a little bit later on. And so this was a pre-done up pork shoulder roast. Almost looks like the pan doesn't have enough oil in it, but I think it still does. Hazel. I've already turned it twice. I just did, Elephant. Welcome in, though. How you doing? I looked into getting a camera that I could stick into my oven, but yeah. The next thing you're going to tell me is it's too light because I'm turning it too quick, but that's because I in turn tend to do this a full, 360 times 720. There's a couple of different types of those, Ozzy. Waffle makers, panini machines. You maybe can call some salamanders or proper broilers. No, not a salamander is typically on top. So, broilers, it would be top and bottom. That's because it's a hacked up shoulder roast. Pork shoulder is a much larger piece. It's cut down so it's a little bit more usable. And it's actually more than one piece inside of that netting, but I'm going to live with it. So we've now done one full turn on this. I'm going to do another turn on this before I worry about any of the other stuff. And I am going to get rid of this protein board and knife and give them a cleanup. It needs a little more cooking before that, but yeah, it's going to be tasty. Oh, it certainly does. I mean, Momofuku does it in lettuce wraps, so... Or did. Yeah, classic Peking duck is done that way, yeah. I'd like to do Peking duck sometime, but I don't have an air compressor. Sort of an odd tool for the kitchen, an air compressor, but that is how they go about getting that skin to separate so nicely. I've had very good and very bad Peking duck. And actually the Peking duck that I had in Beijing was nowhere near the best Peking duck that I've had. All right, so we'll add some onions in here. Turn the temp down a little bit. Bit more salt. Pepper. Two cups of water. I am tempted. I think I'm just gonna go with throwing the bags in there. I'm royally tempted to just throw the whole tea, cut the bags open and just throw them in there. What'd the sign say? Well, considering that we only taste 5 things, we smell everything else. I still think it's important. It's sort of funny with most foods. You look through time and they're disparaged at least some place or time. Most of them originally started with being considered inedible. How dare you eat a tomato? Those are for peasants. Let's get some butter out for later. I certainly use enough onions. I don't know if it's the greatest. I mean, I am a big fan of potatoes too. There's a kid that went through my college that went to top culinary school in the world, can't eat onions. It's like, why? Apparently he was actually allergic to them, which you can't change, but it does make me sort of wonder, the choices people choose to make in that. I don't know. I guess people can argue that he wanted to know what else he can do without it, but we're gonna even give these, I think it's a full 8 minutes. They're asking for. Oh no, it's much less. It's only 3 to 5. Where did I see 8 minutes before? Prep our potatoes ahead of time here. Well, I hope you enjoy. Yeah, most restaurants, fine dining is an exception to this. Most restaurants, the kitchen would be too loud. But yeah, I do wish there were more jazz clubs and lounges and seems like you have to be like this super venue these days, and if you even have live music, it has to be like the thing you do. Hey, Bun Buns. And so I'm going to pull the chai bags out of the liquid, give them a little squeeze, and then these going bye-bye along with the cork wrapping. It was hopefully drained nicely in the sink, though I'd sort of doubt it. Are you from the UK, Wizzy? I seem to get actually quite a few people from the UK just looking to crash or chill out before they call it a night. I need to change that back. That is not the scene I want. That's the scene I want. There we go. Alright, so that's ready to go for later. What else do we want to throw in here? We need some butter and dairy here for with our potatoes. Oh, hey. Guess who forgot he had a half onion in the fridge? And do a little garlic in there too. But otherwise, this is just simmering for at least another hour, but probably closer to 2. Yep. Mildly warmed up butter. Some brown sugar. We need one more of those. That was only 4, not 5. I want to add the. I think I'm gonna mash those together first. I've removed it from the board. Interesting. I'm still getting... Okay. Studying audio stuff there. Seemed like I wasn't getting enough noise off of the board than I wanted. mixing this all together until basically can't tell if there's any butter streaks or anything in it, which we still got a little ways to go here. Oh, dad joke. At least yesterday's were food related. That one was just bad. Alright, I think we're good enough there. With that, opening these from the wrong end here. This is the right way to open them. Ooh. I thought that was actually something, not just bruised banana. Banana going in the cake. This is maybe what I should grab when I got the bananas to begin with. In case of this one, it's going in. Black tea and all. And thankfully ground up fine enough that there ain't any chunks in there or anything. So there goes our chai. Tiny pinch of salt. A little of this stuff. I will use you. Only put water in you anyways. I got cake flour. Let's use cake flour. I want to be a little bit under 2 cups for this recipe. And so that's a really rough 1 cup measure there. I'll go slightly smaller on the AP flour after. Yeah, it's slightly short. So just under 2 cups there. That was just under a cup there too. Excuse me. Oh, and then we need some leaveners. We need some baking soda, some baking powder. Preheat our oven here. What should I put this cake in tonight, chat? Should I do a loaf pan? Should I do a actually this is probably gonna need a larger pan than that. Should I get up one of the silicone modes? Should I do a bundt pan? Cake is cake. Wait for our oven to preheat here before I bother putting it in there. Pork still looking lovely. It's smelling quite chai in here right now. Definitely getting the tea and that off of this right now. Actually getting a lot more tea than I am the pork or even the onion right now, which the onion sort of surprises me. I'm not getting any garlic either, but there's no fresh garlic involved. It's just the seasoning. That's a cute emote. Whose emote is that? Tippy tap. It's like a cute dust chan. Close that. It's still raining outside. When is it gonna stop? Stuck here forever. Just stuck here with me. It's all the dog's fault. Excuse me. All right, so I'm putting this messy concoction of loveliness into the oven, and this is going to take 40 minutes by itself, so this is going to line up actually relatively nicely in time. And that's also a cue for me to start cooking potatoes. So I'm putting the flame on the potatoes off to the left of the pork there. Noodle of cake. Hey, I got a banana for breakfast tomorrow. It's got a weird little, oh, this got one heck of a bruise on it. Ooh. We'll have to take a look at that in the morning. That's, I don't know if you can see the indention there or not. How it, right in through here. But, ooh. Hopefully that's okay tomorrow morning for me to munch on. I guess if not, I'll have cake. Only with coffee, though. For some reason, well, I guess tea, because there's tea cakes too. What other, like, is it acceptable? Well, pancakes. Okay. Because I was sitting here trying to think of cakes for breakfast that aren't like tied to a beverage, and so pancakes obviously, but somehow it's, well, muffins too. Muffins are really cake. Let's face it, it's cake. They're cupcakes without frosting. And the people that eat them with a whole bunch of multigrain or something, I think is just weird. It's like, eek. That said, I do need to change up my flour for my bread. I've just been AP flouring everything this last year. Didn't quite make it through my coffee tonight. Did 2/3 of it though. Had to break into a new bag of coffee for the stream. Gonna have to buy more coffee now. That's another one that just in price. Coffee. I was paying at least $2 less for those bags on a regular basis last year. It's definitely something that you have to be sort of an acquired taste thing, and that's why I don't think most people drink coffee these days. They drink some sort of sugary espresso latte something, which is sort of funny because everyone, like, there was a video not too long ago. I posted it up in the Discord and was like, hey, look at this. And I found it so hilarious. You have all of these people going to espresso because they need that extra oomph that espresso gives them. And then there was a video on YouTube I was watching where they actually did caffeine extractions from the different methods of making coffee, and pour over coffee just blew away espresso and the amount of caffeine it had. And granted, that was a mildly scientific approach that was taken for taking those tests, and it was with a proper tool for testing those. But I'm sure laboratory will be even more accurate. But the numbers that he got there was like, unless he's doing something completely wrong, it's just like night and day the difference between a pour over and drinking espresso. And I'm sitting here thinking of a girl that I graduated with that ended up working at Amazon fulfillment and was just downing coffee and coffee and coffee and coffee. I don't know if she survived. No one survives working at Amazon fulfillment, so I doubt she has, but it's been ages since I've heard or been in contact with her, so. But yeah. But I think most people get into coffee where it's you want something. Typically, it's cold, and it gets that one moment that you really enjoyed coffee. It just locks you in. I know it took me quite a while to even get to the point where I could enjoy coffee black, even though I don't drink it black typically. And that was something that even was a struggle for me. Let's do that over here. I didn't set a timer for the cake, but it's coming out basically the same time that pork is done. I also moved over to just chatting since everything's cooking. We're not really doing any actual cooking work. We're just chilling. So anyone have any thoughts on the whole Noma closing and the thoughts on his thoughts on the model doesn't work? Which I think is really just more of a sign of the economic times than... I put a long explanation on Discord, and I've been sort of thinking about it since I did that long explanation on Discord about what was going on with money and stuff like that. And that's certainly part of it. But I think that the ultra high-end market, while it never really disappears, people are being a little tighter with their money. And that also goes towards that unpaid labor staff, in that there's less of a percentage of families that can afford to send their child out to such and such amazing restaurant and support them to work free for who knows how many. For the basic stage at Noma was 3 months. And so you're paying for living expenses, travel expenses, everything to do to live there, and you're working there for free just so you can put on your resume that, hey, I worked here and made fruit leather bugs for 3 months and never really talked to the chef and didn't really work in a kitchen and was shocked when I was told that I didn't have to use my knives most of the day. And that's another thing too, is comparing those high-end places, very much comparing like a blue collar mechanic job. Is thinking of the typical kitchen that all of us have worked in or been in or seen at least one point, and the like super high-end corporate like look of the high-end restaurants where, you know, everything is clean, everything. And we got an ad going. The whole end, yeah, like, and that the ending of the end of the quote from, oh, forgetting his name, San Francisco Michelin chef, just closed his awesome restaurant, Manresa. Uh, he was sitting there like, everyone in the industry realizes that this industry is changing. No one has a clue what's going on and where it's headed. And I had usually you can sort of read the tea leaves, sort of a thing. You could usually see, oh well, delivery's booming, and that's absolutely gonna be the thing, and it's not. But when it really comes to the fine dining stuff, yeah, it's with a lot of these other things. I don't want to blame it on the younger generation, but the millennials and younger are all very service minded, all very experience minded, and I don't know if that's really going to cut it for them. I don't know that they're really interested in that experience. You can see it with the movies too. Like you see that the most recent food movie was essentially, at least it was. I haven't seen it, but essentially it was billed like the trailer of it was like it was going to be a horror story. Like we're going to take these people and you know these people are evil because they're the people with all the money, and so we're going to poison them. It was the route they were taking with the trailer. I don't know what actually happened there, but if that's what they're selling as far as what fine dining is to the general public, ouch. All right, everyone. I think I'm going to take a couple minute AFK here. We'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the management of this theater takes great pleasure in making this announcement. To each lady attending this theater each week will receive absolutely free a fascinating 12-piece kitchen cutlery set, one piece each time. It is really interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's 2 curls out of the 1 potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. Different colored vegetables, wind them together and you get the 2 colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. Upon my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you start to eat 'em. Now the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in 2. Serve them on the half shell just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a beak piece like that. Now the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way, and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this, drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast. Why, they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the champeen vegetable mincing knife and noodle cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut 'em out of cheese or cut 'em out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupes, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here's a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season, when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. Breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal cutlets or anything like that. You want a little breadcrumbs to fry your fish in? Why, there's the greatest proposition in the world. Use that for coconut, cheese, or horseradish. When you're through with it, just hit it down like that. That knocks all the food out. Rinse it out in a little water and hang it up and let it dry. Now, here is a stone made of carborundum and sapphire quartz, which is made purposely to keep these knives sharp. When they get dull, a few strokes over the edge like this, and you can put a keen cutting edge on it. If you have a dull knife or a dull pair of scissors, an old sickle or a scythe, a lawnmower, cleaver, an axe, there's a tool that will really put an edge on the knife so the knife will really cut for you. I just want to give you an idea of how sharp that knife really is when you sharpen it with that stone. Ladies, I've seen some of you try to open up cans. Now, there's a can of Campbell's baked beans. I've seen ladies open up a can and you poke a hole in it, go around the top, hippity-hop, and your finger slips. Let me show you a real proposition. Look, lay it on the can, lift up the safety, and turn the key. That locks itself on the can. No harder than you were winding up your watch. Wind up the key and that'll cut the top off of the can slick and smooth. Notice how the end raises itself up in the air so you can lift the lid off, giving you a clean, smooth edge. Now that can be used for sardine cans, square cans, or round cans, exactly the same way. Now this tool here, my dear friends, needs no introduction. This will save you on an average of $20 to $30 every year you use it as a peeling knife. Here's a grater for cheese, coconut, or horseradish, a fish scaler for scaling your fish, and when you're coring your apple, it's just a slight twist of the wrist, and there's the apple core. There's one more tool that I want you to see, and I want you to watch this one very closely. Many a times when you're baking a pie, you have a pudding in the oven. I've seen ladies wrap a towel around your hand, and many a times you burn your fingers. Hook this onto the pot like this and lift the hot pots off the top of the stove. You've got a pie pan in the oven, catch a hold of the pie pan like this. Why, you couldn't get it off with a team of horses. This will positively lift 100 pounds. There's a pail of water weighs 50 or 60 pounds. That's the way you pick it up. But there's one more tool. I'll be all through and I'll be finished. Oh, now the next tool and the last one is what they call the Sarah Bernhardt cutter. This was invented by the head chef of the Imperial Hotel in the city of Berlin, Germany. You place the screw into the center of the vegetable. Twist the vegetable until the threads catch a hold, then you wind this up. You keep winding until you utilize the whole potato. The faster you turn, the quicker the slices. Why, ladies, here's a machine for slicing onions, The first onion that you slice with this cutter, you'll bless the day you've got a hold of it. Every slice cut exactly the same thickness, every slice cut the same size. In making what they call a rosette, pull the vegetable out like this. Pin the ends together with a toothpick, drop that potato into the hot fat and fry it.
All right, we're back. That didn't quite. I didn't quite catch the end of that, or I don't know if that overlapped or not. But over here on the stove, wake up, camera. There we go, camera. Over here on the stove, I've had the pork covered for its cooking time. And our potatoes are done, so I'm cutting the heat on those. I am going to take those off of the flame temporarily. Throw this over here so I can dry that out properly. And oh, hey, we're back in food and drink again. I'm actually not sure that these are cooked. They certainly have been boiling a minute, but I think I'm going to give those another minute after that's done drying out. What was cook time on our cake again? I want to say it was 40 minutes. What's the low end on there? Oh, it's 40 minutes is their low end. I want to take a peek. Yeah, it's a cake. There be a cake in the oven. So I was talking in Discord. I was rather upset about Amazon's new return policy. I was not happy at all. I bought a new or proper cooler for my computer, my main computer, not my streaming PC, my main PC. And I bought a large radiator for it. Realized the radiator that I bought too big for my case, and so I got to take that back and get one that's a little bit smaller. I just went all out and went big one. It was too big, and the only way they're allowed, like, it used to be you could, like, return it, like, everywhere. Like, you could take it to Whole Foods, you could take it to UPS store, you could just slap a new label on it and throw it in your mailbox. That ain't the case anymore, apparently. Now, apparently, the only way you can return stuff, or at least in this particular case, I don't know if they have different rules for different returns, but in the case of this one, the only way I can take it back is specific to Whole Foods and specific to, like, the biggest, busiest Whole Foods in the county. And so, like, I have to drive, like, a good 30 minutes or more in order to get to the one that they want me to use. While, you know, there's one that's questionably walkable from my place. You can ship it back. You can still take it to the UPS store and you can still ship it back. But to take it to the UPS store, now they're charging you $6 for the return. And if you want to ship it back and have someone pick it up at your place, it's going to be $12. And so I'm going to have to drive this thing 30 minutes back. It's the first time it's happened for me, and, you know, I returned things last year. I don't know how long it's been since I returned something with Amazon. Yeah, that's what I used to always do. I mean, half of the time I didn't even take it back to the place. I just threw it on top of my mailbox and it went back. And both of the RMAs I just did, both were, one was FedEx, one was UPS. The media thing was FedEx and the actual GoPro was UPS. And those went back to the stores just like normal. Slap a label on them in a box and it's back. Not this case. And what really irritates me about it is they said it was some sort of, like, environmental friendly, like, move. Like, they're not going to pay for a truck to come, you know, they're not going to have the environmental impact of a truck coming out to you. And it's sort of like, well, A, they're already delivering my mail. And B, what's so environmental about me having to drive 30 minutes? Probably, I mean, even if you think about it, the truck's stacked with a whole bunch of deliveries. It's not going to one place. I'm going to one place for one box. It's got to be horrible for the environment comparably. Let's not have one truck collect all the returns. Let's have all the returns go to us. Yeah, that's another thing, Zeke, is the whole delivery times on stuff now. Nothing is the whole old school 2 days. Like, Amazon just keeps pushing and pushing me to just cancel, because what's the benefit anymore? Like, Walmart was way more convenient with, I ordered those pickled pig's feet, like, right to the door next day. Not that Walmart is any. Yep. Everything is order it and wait now. And they're not even, like, a lot of the things they don't even have good prices on anymore. If you go to the competition, a lot of the time the competition is cheaper now. It didn't used to be that way. Like, GoPro's considerably cheaper from GoPro rather than buying them through Amazon. It used to be that retailers were always, like, ridiculous. Like, you would never go to the retailer or the actual product because they would always mark up their products higher than the retailers to give the retailers a chance. Amazing how tech changes things. Anyone see anything amazing that happened at CES? I haven't seen much of the news. I haven't seen much. There certainly wasn't a ton of computer stuff because none of the computer channels I was following were showing anything like mind-blowingly, amazingly different. But usually there's some cool stuff there. There was really nothing as far as computer. OLED TV stuff, like... Yeah, I saw some monitors, I saw a couple of cases. I saw several people report on this, like, ridiculously huge, incredibly expensive gaming chair that wasn't even working properly or finished. And I was like, no thank you, I don't need to bother with that. And... yeah, but usually there's something, like, I remember Toyota a couple of years back had their autonomous bus that was just ridiculously awesome. Yeah, like... That's like the computer chair for the person that knows nothing about computers and has more money than they know what to do with. It's like, I just want the best. I just want the top of the line. And those things are never, like, nice either. If you look, they're always... I would always want to build something like that of my own anyways. Especially if I was putting that amount of money and time, and I want it my way. I don't care how you're selling it. $27 by $32 by $27 monitor up, nice. Those potatoes have to be done by now, so I'm cutting the heat on them. They're getting close on this cake. Let's see what temp we got on our pork. Missed the Giphy. Oh, it's the Giphy. That sounds like CES. Cake. Cake. Try cake. Go ahead and strain off the liquid on these taters. Yeah, let's use a strainer. Let that cool off over here. And gotta melt that butter a bit more again. It already coagulated a little bit, or re-solidified. I guess if it coagulates, it typically doesn't turn soft again. That typically doesn't happen. Brain's always trying to substitute the wrong word for things. Okay. Oh, the butter's back to being soft again. Cool. Add all that loveliness in with the potatoes here and give them a mash. First rule of strainers and potato mashers. Clean them immediately after you're done with them. Put a lid on that to keep the heat on it for a minute or two while we're waiting on everything else here. And our timer is done, which means our pork should be done. I'm gonna wait until 45. I don't need to wait until 45, but I'm gonna wait until 45. All right, 145. $145 on our pork. Not that the temperature was the most important thing here. The time was a major part of this. I'm not going to go directly into cutting this, as it may seem. We're going to allow this to rest, but I am going to get this webbing off of it. No, stay together. Pulling away a little bit here on our cake. A little bit. Let's see, do I dare try and unmold this thing? That is still a bit warm. I'm going to give that another couple minutes to cool down. I'm debating whether this is a worthwhile time here, whether dealing with this, reducing this down. We already got our tea flavor well cooked into this. That's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is concentrating that tea flavor down it could be rough reducing it down that much. Want to break into it, want to cut it. I think I'm going to cut the heat on that. I'm going to chop this up. I'm going to throw it back in there and leave it somewhat loose. Maybe we'll do a starch thickener on it. Let's try what we got here. Let's see what we got for a sauce back here. That's tasty. I can taste all the, the clove and cinnamon type notes in there. The onion worked really well with that. I was sort of shocked by that. So I'm going to give that cake another 5 minutes or so before I unplate that. That's what I can do while we're waiting. That's what I can do. We can make some ice cream. So as I said before, really sort of cool machine. This takes our container of cream cheese infused with chai tea and sugar, frozen into a solid block, just like that. Solid block of ice. Pop that bad boy in here. It locks in place. The bottom locks into it so it doesn't do anything. Then we have our blade on the top of it. And then we line the top, lock that in. Go over here to our machine. Lock it into the machine. Lifts it up and turns it to the side. I don't know how much you can actually see of this. It's probably pretty small. And from here, I'm gonna mute the mic because he's gonna get a little loud for that. There we go. And we're back. And that's done doing its thing. We're unlock it from the machine. And remove it. See what we got. Ooh, it looks like we were a little fat heavy. It's looking almost powdery there. I'm gonna send this through once more, which will mostly just warm it up a little bit more, but it's gonna get noisy again, so mute once again. Okay. That's looking a little better. But so this is the quality of our ice cream now. Could be softer, could be smoother. But that is most certainly ice cream at this point. And actually just warming it up a bit. The reason that it's breaking apart as much as it is because I put too much fat in this recipe. And so it actually needs to warm up a bit to be smoother. Still too cold. I'm gonna give that a try because I think this is gonna go back into the freezer at this point. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, really heavy on the fat in this. It's absolutely coating the spoon. But that is quite lovely. I'm liking this. It started off really rich, ice creamy due to all the fat in there. And then it came in with all the spice. Like the spice was light enough that it was there, but it came in sort of towards the background. Put a lid on that for right now. We'll see how that looks in 5 or 10 minutes. But returns the blade to the top. You can release the blade off of this. Relatively easy. Give the whole thing a rinse down. Rinse, repeat. It's a great little ice cream machine. The major thing is you just have the pints remade ahead of time. And you can have homemade real deal. Let's cut into this pork. Let's see what we got for our pork now. Making some thinner slices for dinner tonight. Rest will chop up and throw back into with the liquid. This is all going back in. I was originally chopping those for this, but I think I want this for the dinner tonight. So there's meat for dinner tonight. Almost dropped that. There is droid. Oh, there's much more. There is chai in that liquid up in the pan up there. This was all cooking in. So all this, other than the nicely thin slice, somewhat thin slice, pork is going back into that lovely liquid to just hang out. Welcome in, Droid Insanity. See what we got. Big risk time. plopped. It plopped. That's looking lovely. I'm very happy with that. Love that brown color going in there. It seems a little bit more even in person than it does on camera. But there's most certainly chai. There's 2 whole bags of chai in this, like, just dumped in the mix. And there's 3 bananas in there. So, cake. Yeah, ice cream to go, chai ice cream to go with our cake. You're just joining in. Well, let's go ahead and make our dinner for tonight. Our final dish of the evening. Grab our mashed taters. No worries, Zix. Feel free. That's flavor. What is this sorcery? You mean my camera going nuts? Mr. Wiggles going crazy? Is that what you're talking about, Kirby? I had a lovely holiday. I hope you did as well, sir. A little confused why you're awake at this hour, but happy to have you in, Chad. Hopefully you're well. I did a pork shoulder roast, and I braised it in chai tea tonight, so that's what you're looking there, along with some freshly made, homemade mashed potatoes. Don't worry about it then, Zeeks. I'm actually not a big we have to raid someone kind of guy. It does good for some numbers, but it's also... And where is my ladle? There's my ladle. I'm gonna ladle a little of this lovely juice over the top. This being the braising liquid, along with onion, garlic powder, chai, salt, pepper. So pretty simple, but also pretty damn tasty. Hey, Ravtwitch, welcome in. How'd it turn out? Did you cheat and use a thermometer, or did you do the hard, soft? I wouldn't want you to do much of anything else to it. Some people like to add a little garlic in that mix, but salt and pepper is really all you need for a steak. Maybe the cut? It's typically the cut that does that, not necessarily the cook. Guess I gotta do it from this direction so I can see the name on it. Well, there's certainly different cuts of steak, and some are more tender, some are less tender. Turn the temperature down on that a bit. There we go. Now we're getting some smoothness out of this. Now we got some ice cream going here. Again, a little too high fat. And I don't think I'm going to get a good quenelle out of this. Nope, definitely not getting a good quenelle out of this. So, maybe we'll switch plans here. That ice cream's good. Eye of the round. Eye of the round you can do a roast with. or you can go quick with. You can actually turn that into hamburger and have some pretty good hamburger meat. It's not the top, but but I think that's where we're going to leave it tonight, folks. We've got our ice cream, we got our cake, and we got some nice pork and mashed potatoes. But going back to the cut, Rev Twitched, it's sort of like the difference in prices between the filet mignon and the New York, or the a T-bone and a filet. Like a T-bone has part of the filet on it, and has part of the New York on it, but there's going to be tougher bits, there's going to be more gristle, there's going to be... Whereas if you just cut that straight tenderloin, and you clean up all of the silver skin on it and all of that other stuff that's on it, you can have a really tender piece of meat. But yeah, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go and eat this loveliness. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me tonight. A little salt on there, a little fresh cracked pepper over the top, since I don't think I got the mashed potatoes well with the seasoning. I'll probably gonna have to hit those mashed potatoes up with a bit more salt and pepper. I will be back here on Friday. Not tomorrow night, next night. And we'll be going to be starting our next theme, which is Creole and Cajun. I haven't set up any of the menu stuff since that was just planned last night. So, yeah. We're going to be doing Cajun and Creole for the next 3 streams here. So, look forward. You can look forward to that from me here. I hope you all have a lovely evening. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me tonight. I greatly enjoyed hanging out with all of you. Great seeing all of your faces in here. A lot of faces that I haven't seen in a minute or two. Happy to see you back. Let's see here. I think we're going to call it a night right there. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Good night.